Hey y'all! What's up? It's Kayla here. I'm here with week 5 of RDL season 7. Been a week of all time, but I'm home and I've been having technical difficulties, especially with once I get the Wi-Fi, because that's the main issues. The Wi-Fi has been kind of shaky here, but once I get the Wi-Fi, there's just a random chance it will disconnect, and I don't want that happening during this. So if I get things figured out, possibly I'll have week 6 as a live, but for now, week 5 and week 6 are both going to be just pre-recorded, so I'm sorry about that. That was not my intention going into this week, and I thought I would be able to have both live. So hopefully I can still get them live, hopefully I can at least get week 6 live and figure something out. But as of now, that's not the case, so I'm sorry about that. But without a further ado, let's head into... Oh, also, do you guys want me to pre-watch the weeks, or would you rather me go in blind? I remember sometime in the last season I alternated between the two, and especially this year, sometimes I'll watch the game and sometimes I won't. So if you guys have a preference, I would love to do either. So let's head into this week. I think there's one game that's unavailable. I probably should have checked live links to be honest, but I need to throw this together. I need to get this done. I have a midterm that I still have to record the second video of, so I want to get this done. So here are your standings heading into week 5. There's a lot of teams. Really, it's these, what is this, 6 teams? These 6 teams are really the teams that I have my eyes glued to. For example, I know I played the Portland Palafins. I'm pretty sure the Band Brigade is up against the Seattle Starmies. The Hatsune Miku fan club is against the Pachirisu play. There are a lot of the twos are having tougher matchups. I think the only one that's like, pretty fine, I think it's the Ludies versus... Or no, the Ludies are up against the Coney, the Coney Cats, or I forget. There's one matchup which is like, fine enough, but the rest of them are really difficult. They're gonna be we might not have an undefeated team because a lot of these teams are going up against these teams. So this is really make or break. This is where we see who is going to pretty much clinch and who is not going to clinch. I'm pretty sure any of the 4-0 teams, if they win, they will clinch. I'm like 99% certain if Ceaseless Ledge win, they will clinch because if they would lose, even if they win this, they fall down to, even if they go 5-2 for the rest of the year and they lose by -6, they would still be 5-2 plus whatever, and a lot of these teams wouldn't be able to do that. So, with that all being said, let's get into this week. I'm actually doing reverse order. I just first come first serve was how I did it. Whichever replay I saw first, I just clicked it. So, and also shout out Chiyu, shout out Mega Tyranitar, Sneasler, Reuniclus, Cart, Palafin, my goat. A lot of good mons this season. I'm used to Pikachu's not even here anymore. I'm used to those mons. At least showing up, like a Reuniclus showing up, or even a Mega T-Tart showing up. But a lot of hitters, a lot of good mons. So shout out to y'all for actually making good Pokemon the kill leaders. First matchup. Let me just make sure that this is... Yep, cool. First matchup we have is the sneaky Zoroarks going up against the College Ave Cubs. I think at this point I have been burned. I know what to expect from this team. I don't even think this team's bad. I just think the coach maybe is not singles oriented, and that is okay. That is okay. And you're going up against someone who has been here for the past 2-3 seasons and has put in the work, so I'm probably favoring College Ave Cubs here. I think if we're looking purely match-off based, geez, what is the Zygarde answer? I think you have to bring Scarf Gardevoir for the Zygarde matchup, because this is not a wall. It gets hit by 1,000 arrows. This gets hit by 1,000 arrows or 1,000 waves or whatever the move is. Zygarde just looks crazy. Or maybe you bring in with whatever the drag. I've never used the Dragon Berry, so whatever the Dragon Berry is, and you bring this, and I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like Zygarde should win this game. I guess you have the Mammo in the back as like revenge if it's banded Ice Shard, but like, yeah, Zygarde should always win this matchup. It just looks too incredible here. On the other side of things, this team is very Mammo weak. A lot of teams are Mammo weak, but like, you can tell when a team is Mammo weak. And Moltres is the only answer on this team to Mammo. And I guess whatever Savali wants to be, but even then, it would have to be like water, normal. But yeah, this team is Mammo weak, so we'll see. We'll see. They don't have Scarf, so it's or they don't have Web, so it's probably going to be Scarf Mammo. Very, very intriguing, but I'm predicting we just see we just see the Zygarde put in work, and Zygarde is here, Savali's here. No Spectre, and no Gardevoir. So, what do I know? And also, Bronzong's here for reasons we don't know. Anyways, let's head into this match. I think we're just going to see lead Diancie, and I think lead Mammo is best case scenario if you're on this side, or lead Torn. Some way to get momentum. You want to get your turn once mapped out when you prep, so hopefully they both had a plan. I assume you just lead Diancie and you try and get a Brox, but Zong... Moltres is a good lead too because you can just Flamethrower, get a ton of chip on Zong, which is going to help the Zygarde matchup. Volcanion comes in on Flamethrower. Is that like AV? Or is that just like Volcanion doing Volcanion shit? Blissey comes in on Steam Eruption. It's going to tank it. If you're I would teleport here. They just stayed in and just clicked Overheat. Rocks is fine and then probably teleport. EQ, you had EQ the whole time? We brought mixed mons, I guess. Lopunny finally comes in on teleport. Good teleport. Moltres comes back out. It is Boots, which is probably to be expected. Diancie can come in though, and it could just start clicking Diamond Storm because it should live on 2%. I don't know why Overheat came out, but sure. Megalop has to Mega here. CC's not killing. So that is a huge Mega Diancie actually doing a Mega Diancie thing and getting some kills for once. But Electivire is going to take it down. Cross Chop Electivire for what? For what? Knock comes out. My Goat Kartana gets a kill. Attack boost, obviously. I'm assuming it's Scarf Cart, right? This is just going to click Knock again. It shouldn't lose. It shouldn't die to anything, so only gets 3. Is this just Cart wins? I would love that. I'm a huge card fan, so this is good news for me. Unfortunate miss. Unfortunate miss. Maybe it's not Scarf Cart. It is Scarf Cart. Unfortunate miss. That matters for a differential, but at this point in the game, it was over. And my boy Scarf Cart put in the work, and Zygarde didn't even come out, so shows what I know about mons. But this matchup's tough because it's literally get up rocks and put your best mon in the game, or put some wall breaker in the game that puts in work, because this team doesn't have switch-ins, or at least very good switch-ins, especially with how Bronzong was played. It really allowed Diancie to just start clicking buttons because there was no good switch-ins for it. Same with letting Volcanion get chipped a little bit and letting it stay in on a Diamond Storm was pretty weird. I feel like that's because Zong was unhealthy, but even then, I feel like Torn should have been considered as a play, or even like an Electivire. Just I don't know. Tough matchup, tough matchup, and let's head to the next one. Portland Palafin's going up against Cincinnati Willows. This is probably the game of the week, just stakes wise, because this is a play-in game if you're familiar with the NBA or even March Madness. This is a game that feels like the winner will make playoffs and loser will not make playoffs. And obviously there's still 2 weeks left, but I'm not sure about the Palafin schedule, but I know my schedule. I go up against the 2 undefeated teams remaining, one of which is the College Ave Cubs, and the other's the Coney Cats. Or I guess Coney Cats are not undefeated, but like, I'm going up against some very good teams, so to me, this felt like a must-win. This felt like a play-in where if I lose, I might be out. So I tried to treat it like that. On the Portland Palafin side, Palafin is obviously a huge threat. I think Gliscor has an amazing matchup. Just honestly, Steve Facade looks pretty good here. Gold looks amazing because my special wall is Slowking, and that's it. Slitherwing AV is a fun mon, and so is Cyclozar, but even then, this team has knockoff support, so it's not like it's impossible for that to happen. Iron Hand goes into this team pretty well. It just can live any hit. It pretty much trades kills, which is not the greatest thing in the world for me. Avlog looks like crap. War Turtle looks fine as like a pivot. Sun, so obviously you're gonna be thinking about that. This is actually, and then moving on to my side, this is actually a very rare matchup for me where it feels like Sun has to be used because Palafin. If this team did not have Palafin, I probably would not have brought Sun. But because Palafin's here, I need some way to slow it down. So I felt like Sun was a must-have for me. So Torkoal, congrats on your second game because you are coming. Pause. I think I brought Corv because Corv just looked great defensively, but also offensively. There's not a lot of mons besides Iron Hands, which obviously I just need to get rid of it, that really want to take a move from it. Obviously, Gold has Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, all that shit, but probably could have EV'd Corv a little bit better for this matchup just so that it could take special hits because I oriented it physically because Mega Altaria is a big threat. If it's mixed, that could pose a lot of issues, especially in the sun. If it's running Flamethrower, Heat Wave, whatever, I think it gets one of those. So I think it gets Heat Wave. I'm not entirely sure, but mixed Altaria was something I was very scared of. Venu looks incredible. Usually looks very good in matchups, but in this matchup specifically, once Talonflame goes down, there's really not a lot of answers to it, and it can get chipped on a lot of shit. Slither looks fine. I probably should have brought it just because maybe I did bring it. I don't remember. This was like a week ago. I don't remember. It looks good as an AV or like a breaker. It can really do whatever it wants. Comfy looks okay. It's just there's a Goldango, so it's like, why would I do that? Chiyu looks incredible as just cleanup fodder, breaker. If someone dies, it's a very good comeback mon that could just get a kill. Torn actually looks very good offensively as well into this team. Really, it's just the Gliscor that's something I'm like, I don't know. And then Cyclozar is really my only gold answer, right? Because I can't bring Slowking because it just is free fodder for it. So this was really the only one I could be like, yes, I'm gonna bring. I need something for gold. So very interesting matchup. I feel like it is a better matchup for me just because Sun just looks really good into this team. Obviously, this team is the same team that brought Sun against the Rain team, so obviously I know they're going to prep for the Sun part of my team, which kind of sucks because the whole point of my team this season has been, holy shit, it's a Sun team, and then I don't bring the Sun team. So maybe I could have done that this week, but here is the matchup. I did bring Slither. I knew it. Pretty much everyone you would expect. Is there a surprise here? Talonflame not coming was a little bit of a surprise for me because I was like, this mon looks it looks crazy into my team, but they also have Altaria, so it's like, that makes sense too. But this is a very intriguing matchup. My game plan was obviously Torkoal. They've been leading Palafin first every game, which, as a Palafin fan, I hate that. I think it's really fun when you don't bring Palafin, when you don't lead off Palafin, because it can give you a really good advantage. And in this game, what we saw was exactly that. Palafin was not let off, and I was like, oh shit. But I'm also crazy with it, and I clicked Will-O-Wisp so that it couldn't get the poison heal. So, no recovery for Gliscor. We live any EQ. I can get my rocks up as well. Not that I'm going to, because why would I do that? Rabbit Spin. I expect them to switch here, because why would you stay in on him on that Ice Spinner? But sure. Iron Hands comes out, which is scary, so we're going to get out of there and go to Slitherwing. And that was really my only out, because when you look at my team, also that does crazy damage. When you look at my team, I don't have a good switch into this one. So I felt like I had to just sack here and trade, which sucks for me, because Slitherwing is actually very good this matchup, or it felt very good, and losing a Sunsweeper just sucks, but I'm going to have to try and play around that. I have Corvi here. It's going to try and D-dance on me. I'm actually a very fun Corvi set. I am Bulk Up, Payback, I think Ironhead, specifically for this Altaria. I think I pay back. I'm crazy with it, and I just pay back there. Um, I switch into Cyclozar though, obviously on whatever move it wants to go for. In this case, Thunderbolt. I think I knock here, just because if they stay in, that would be great. But I really should have. I should not have played the game the way I played it. They also stayed in, which was kind of crazy. I think they just clicked Ice Punch though, for to try and get the kill. But I get a free bulk up here if I want it. I can roost as well. I'm gonna take the roost, which makes sense for once. Cyclozar comes in on a T-Bolt, Power Gem, Tomato Tomato. Don't really know why that was clicked instead of Thunderbolt, but they get to bring in Mega Altaria. They double back to Goldango, which was something I was very confused about, but lets me get in Corv. But also, it was a really good play in hindsight because then I waste a turn getting back Cyclozar in, which sucks. And then I make a prediction there. There's no way you stay in. And then they stayed in and they got the para, and it was like, dude, are you serious? And I played this game very aggressively and a little more aggressively than I needed to at some points. For example, the amount of times you've seen me misplay or mispredict is astounding. Clicking U-turn on the Gliscor or Ice Spinner on Goldango. At every point now that you see me get paralyzed, I will click knock, which is really annoying. But I'm forced to go Corvi here. I think I roost on this because why wouldn't I? But at this point, I feel like I'm trapped because I can't get a knockoff in, and they are just continuously getting chipped. So they get a Power Gem off. I can't get a knockoff, which is great. And finally, I just click U-turn because I'm like, I need health. I have to do something. So I go Chiyu. I think I clicked. Did I click Willow on this? And then I missed the Willow, of course, which is fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Obviously, they're going to set up Rain Dance here. Wasn't too surprised by it, but I also finally get Venusaur into this game. But I'm at a point where it's like I have to just get chip on it, and unfortunately, leave it with 23%, which is like, dude, that sucks. But they get Cyclozar down. But Para was huge because I never got a knockoff on, and look at how much recovery it actually had. War Turtle takes that pretty well, and probably should have stayed in, try and get as much as I could off on it, because at this point I'm kind of at a disadvantage, especially with Palafin. It just looks crazy into this team, but I have to get a payback off, which does 45, and at this point, of course the para comes, but at this point I have to get something. I have to get something on the board. I hope I went Torkoal here. I went Chiyu, which is like, obviously, but I think I should have went Torkoal. It doesn't really matter at this point, but I get the crit, which doesn't matter, unless they have Jet. And at this point in the game, I need flinches. So I'm going to take my one flinch. I'm going to take not my second flinch, but their D-Dance. I'm Scarf, so I outspeed. And I'm going to take that kill, and Palafin is going to take the rest of these. So, GG's. Just, obviously, I did not play that the best because I made a lot of predictions that didn't work. I also probably could have prepped a lot better for this matchup just because, like I said, I felt like this is a very good matchup for me. Probably should have respected Goldango just a tiny bit more. But at the same time, I felt like I played fine. It's just, I felt like I prepped fine. It's just, I made a lot of bad predictions that costed me. And I got parried every time I clicked knock. So it was really frustrating because I felt like Goldango should not have. It recovered 100% of its health, and it's like, I felt like I could have played that a lot better. But GG's, obviously, Paycheck, amazing player. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna make playoffs. But it felt like I had a matchup over him, and I just completely blew it. So that was a nice game. Moving on, we have the Tapus up against the Jellicents. This is certainly going to be a game of all time. I think Lucha actually looks very good into this team. Lucha looks very good into this team. It really depends on how you play Lucha. It depends on the set, of course. But if you are like Trailblaze SD Lucha with Clear Amulet, That looks crazy. That looks crazy. Obviously, I'm saying that. And Quillfish is probably not going to come to this game, but Hawlucha looks crazy. It looks like it has an amazing matchup. I think you're probably going to see Scarf. You're going to see Scarf on one of these mons, or you're going to see Alolan Raichu come, but you need speed control for Dragapult always, so that's why I don't know if Alola choose best. I actually really like the Tapu's matchup here. I feel like if they get their terrain up, they can really make a lot of work here. I think Gambit also looks very fine. Obviously, there's this mon, and there's this mon, and there's this mon, and there's this mon that don't like it, but if you get rid of those mons, it doesn't look bad. But I think defensive Gambit looks okay-ish, and I think Sucker Punch Gambit looks great. I like Tapu Koko, I like Lucha. I like fighting spam. I like fighting spam a lot, and I don't know who your Rotom Heat answer is, to be honest though. That's it. Okay. Okay. I think Jellicents are probably gonna win this. God, I do not like the Rotom Heat. The fact that fires are just you just click the fire button and everything dies. What? What? But I think Jellicents are gonna take this one, and we'll see. Why is Slowpoke here? Why is Slowpoke here against the Electric Terrain team and the Gambit? What the fuck? You could have literally brought... I thought Ogerpon... I was eyeing up Ogerpon this whole time. Oh my god, Ogerpon looks amazing. And it doesn't come, but Quillfish does. Rotom Heat doesn't... Oh my god. Bro, if you lose this game and you didn't bring Rotom Heat, that's gonna be a little embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be a little embarrassing. I think Quillfish is probably the lead. You want Hazards up. I think Coco's probably the lead. Maybe Gambit. Maybe Cinderace. You can see a lot of leads in this scenario. Frostlass, 2. Quillfish Asui comes in as the lead. Taunt, I feel like they're just going to go for Crunch. Nope, we don't care about that, I guess. Barbarage, I actually really like clicking Barbarage there. That is really unfortunate, though. I like it because if you get the poison, that's great. And obviously they could be debound. I don't like Wisp there. I like getting up a second spike because this is just going to kill. Curse Body is crazy. That is 3 straight. You could have brought in Cinderace as well, but I don't mind Coco. Holy. Is that like Specs? That's crazy. That did so much. This is Scarflando. I love Scarflando, so that's amazing. Lucha. Unfortunately, this is not Clear Amulet, obviously, but it is going to get the SD boost, and Acrobatics is going to do a nice 43. Poison, Poison. Acro should kill, but they don't have a lot of good shit into it. Pult is not a lot of good shit into it. You can Acro here and get a lot of chip on it, and by a lot, I mean 11%, but like, it's just going to die to CC. Obviously, I don't like Roar there. Roar is a crazy play. Pyro Ball, it's going to tank it, but U-turn's going to come out. It might, I was going to say it might kill. Lucha comes back out, which is fine. I don't know if you're running Knock on this set. Like, I like Acro there, or SD there into Acro. You get a lot of chip on it. 51? 51? What is this Slowpoke eating? Holy. Anyways, Metacham is going to pick up its kill next turn. Zen Headbutt, I like it for in case Pult comes in. Slowpoke comes in for reasons I don't know. No T-Punch on this set. Cinderace comes in. Freest U-turn of my life. Getting Gambito. Not getting in Gambito. I don't like this. Are we just gonna... I really don't like that either. Why are we not just getting in Gambit? I don't understand what is... Why are we not going Gambit? Why are we not going Gambit? Thank you! Oh my lord! Oh my god! Finally! Don't click Sucker. Thank you. Now click Sucker. Now you click Sucker here. Cool. Gambit can always win this. Gambit should always win this, to be honest. I like Cinderace on Willow. Perfect. Yep. That makes sense. For once. U-turn's extremely free. Why are we clicking Sucker? I don't like that. Click U-turn. Get in Gambit. This is not Chilly Reception or Teleport. Actually, it probably is. But it hasn't clicked it. So, just click Kowtow. Get your kill. And good day. Pult comes in. I would Sucker here because it's funny. It was obviously not the right play though, so good switch. I don't like Sucker there either, but I think you just want chip. Yep, just take your chip because they are, I guess, trying to lose the game. I don't understand. Is this also in speed Polt? What is this? Sucker, is this killing? No. But that's going to be GG's. You just Sucker Punch. Or you, who do you want to kill? Metacham is going to get the fake out kill. I don't, that was the worst game I've seen. I don't know why Rotom Heat was not brought in a matchup where it literally just clicks a button. I don't know why you turn one T-Spikes on the mon that's obviously going to taunt on you. I don't know why. And obviously unlucky because of the cursed body stuff, but there wasn't bad prep. It was just like weird decisions like bringing Slowpoke to a matchup where there's electric terrain and a Gambit. I I don't understand that one. Obviously Wall, Cinderace, and Metacham, but like, it doesn't because if these two mons are alive, wins that matchup. But how many times are those mons going to be the only mons alive? Gambit was always alive. This whole matchup. I really don't like how that game was played. And we're going to see Terrain take a dub in a matchup where they probably should not have taken a dub just because Rotom Heat looked absolutely insane into this team. But what do I know? What do I know? Alright. Moving on, we have the Coney Cats up against the Hero Hunters Requiem. I don't think I really need to do too much analysis. I think we know Coney Cats are probably going to take the win because we haven't seen anything from Hero Hunters Requiem that has been promising. I don't mean that in a harsh way. I just mean it in a realist way. They haven't really taken advantage of their team the best, and I don't think this team is great, but 0-4 minus 16 bad? I don't think so. I think this matchup should be like every other matchup. It should be one Mon is a breaker and the other Mon is a cleaner, and you just operate like that. I think Heatran looks very good. I think Rotom Wash looks very good. I actually think this is not a bad matchup at all. I think Burning Bulwark looks really good. I think Mega Mawile looks very fine. I actually really like the Hero Hunters Requiem. It's just, they're probably going to lose Light 4 Rillaboom with high horsepower, because what is the switch-ins, right? I could see them easily, or I think Flashfire Ninetales is probably coming to this matchup. If I had to guess, if I had to wager a guess, which this is probably going to be wrong, but I think it's going to be these 5, for sure. And then it's, do you bring Scoville for annual Sun support? Do you bring... You probably need something for Serp, now that I think about it. So, does Florges come? Does Pause? Does... Honestly, Scoville looks amazing as a wall. Like, I hate it, but... I feel like Scovillain's probably going to come, and I'm going to hate myself, but... No Scovillain, but this is pretty much what I said. On the other side, we only had 11 ones that you could actually realistically bring, so... Not too surprising. We see Burning Bulwark in the first spot, so... Florges, the Eiffel Tower... up against Serp. I like that. That is unfortunate. That is an unfortunate drop. This is a very cool Serp set. This is a very, very cool Serp set. This is good prep. This is good prep. That is a very cool Serp set. I didn't think it had the greatest matchup, and you surprised me. That was a very good Serp set. That did nothing. That literally, that did nothing. Gouging might just win. Gouging might just win. Floor just comes in. Do you have a Whirlwind? Chilling Water. Oh boy. Oh boy. I get it though, you're trying to stall a light screen. I think you're probably gonna just go Glim. If it's Sash. That should not have scared it. Why did that scare it out? And now Serp is... We were doing so well. We were doing so well. I'm sorry to pause, but... We were doing so well. Why do we not stay in and click Earth Power, or not Earth Power, Earthquake? Why is the play switch out? Oh my goodness. And then they lose Serb for that. You just lose the game. You just lose now. Because you don't have screens. Power Gems is 96, crazy. I know it's a crit, but why are we taught? I'm gonna crash out, man. These plays are crazy. Rotom... Hydro Pump hits for once. But you just lost 2 Mons for no reason. I am really depressed about that. That is not how you play Mons. This is, what is it, White Herb or Normal Gem? Yeah, normal gem. Crit. Doesn't matter. SD for free. Willow doesn't matter. And they let you get the SD off for reasons which we don't know. They intimidate. Are they gonna like switch again? No. And they're just gonna die for. I think Caesar wins. I don't see what comes in and actually beats this mon unless it's Scarf Bundle. It's not Scarf Bundle, so Caesar, Dire Claw, Poison, Sleep. Breaking Swipe? Breaking Swipe? Oh my. Whatever. Whatever, just get your Grassy Glide kills. Why did we not high horsepower? That was a poorly played game on this side. They made a lot of plays that were confusing. We're gonna move on. 4 and 1 plus 4. And 0 and 5 minus 19. We have 3 matches to go. We have the Pachirisu players going up against the Hatsune Miku fan club. Like I was saying, I've seen a lot of these 2-2 matchups are going up against teams that have really good records or are right there with them. This is a really interesting matchup. I actually do like the Hatsune Miku fan club. I think low kicks just looks absolutely incredible this matchup. There's not a lot of switch-ins to them on. There's always not a lot of switch-ins, but on this team, there's especially not a lot of switch-ins. I think you can easily U-turn pivot, get in Hydreigon, get in Ledge. I think both of those look incredible. I think webs are not horrible. I think Take a Ton, Lead Tink is pretty good. I think Mega Sableye is amazing. I just really like the Hatsune Miku fan club this matchup. I think Sand's not bad, but it's definitely not the greatest this matchup, especially because there's things you have to prep for, like Passimian, which I don't even think has an amazing matchup. It's probably gonna come, but I don't even like Passimian this matchup. I think it's good, but I think there are better mons, and you have to prep for it. You're gonna have to prep for a lot of mons that you think are gonna come, but probably are not actually gonna come because they don't have the greatest matchups in the world. So I really like the Hatsune Miku fan club's side of things. They should be 3 and 1, so this should be a huge battle of titans. But because of last week and how that went, I think I did update this, right? Mega Sableye and Passimian are here instead of Swampy and Mega Absol. I really like the Hatsune Miku fan club side. I think the Pachirisu, I know I lost to this team, but I genuinely do think this team is a little bit fraudulent. I don't think they should be 4 and 0 good. I think they're good. I just don't think they're 4 and 0 good. And I think a lot of opponents made a couple of misplays that really could have swung things in the other direction, but my prediction is we see a Ledge sweep, and Ledge is here. I was gonna say Ledge. Imagine that mon's not here. Low kicks is here for sure. I do not think this mon come, but it makes sense because you have sand. But Sableye is gonna come in on Drill. Taunt. I really like that taunt play. It prevents, obviously. I don't like that play though. I don't like that play either. I don't know why we didn't just Stomping Tantrum here. Jesus Christ. We are Flash Fire Agility Shield, and it's just going to pick up the kill. That's crazy. Flash Fire Agility Shield. Wow. Ability Shield. We get a huge chip on Ogerpon. Low kicks comes out, though. I would U-turn here. Day first impression, that's fine. That's the right call. Mens comes. I don't like that. What? Why did we do that? I don't like that play at all. I think you capitalize. You just click Ivy Cudgel for free. I don't know why we made. I guess we just want to win with an eye leap. I genuinely don't know what that play was. They're gonna bulk up a couple times just for funsies, I guess. U-turn is perfectly fine there. You bring Tink on the balloon, which is cool. Drain Punch, not going to kill. I think Future Sight should kill, though. Back. Nice Pickpocket. It doesn't kill, but it does a lot. You get lefties. Player off comes out. Doesn't get the kill, which is a little unfortunate, but low kicks, obviously. It's going to come out. They have Protect Spam, I guess, on this team, which is something. This comes out. You go Glow King. God, this is just setup. This is just setup galore. Holy. Rudl comes out. Dueling Beat hits. So that's probably going to be GG's. Are you Protect on Mens too? No. And you didn't first impression. So, fair enough. Fair enough. This team is proving me wrong constantly. It's just a setup team. It's just a setup team. And I think there were a lot of misplays again on this side of things. I think taunt here was a great play. You just got unlucky called out and EQ'd. But like going pawn here makes no sense. This switch makes zero sense to me. And then this switch in particular makes zero sense to me. Why do we not just click the mega button? Why don't we mega Sableye and recover? I think this play killed you because now you lose one, you lose two, and then for some reason you switch there, which whatever, fine. And now you're just in a very bad position. And you also switch here for reasons which we don't know. I think there could have been a lot of better plays. And equally, I think they made a lot of confusing, confounding plays when Ogerpon could have just stayed in the whole game and won. I really don't like how this matchup was played, but that being said, obviously. Maybe you feared Sucker. I don't know. I don't usually run Sucker Punch and low kicks because you have first impression. Why would you bring more priority? I like SD low kicks or axe kick or CC. I like coverage on it, so maybe they just feared it. I couldn't tell you, but that match was certainly a matchable time. So another team is going to... I think all of the 2-2 teams have lost, right? Obviously, besides Portland. All the 2-2 teams have lost so far, which is insane to even comprehend. But we have another 2-2 team going up against a 3-1 team in the Seattle Stormies team, which I beat. Ironmouth looks crazy. Ironmouth just looks crazy. It feels like it can just spam buttons. I like Starmie a lot here. I think that could be really good. AV looks very nice. Do you have a Valley answer? Not really. No, you have Togekiss. My bad. My bad. I didn't respect game. And you have a Sinistcha. I like the Seattle Starmies here. I just think they're a lot more squishier. And this is the disadvantage of having a team with no depth, is that you really can only... These are really the only viable mons. And if you substitute in a Masquerain, you're losing something extremely important. So if this team is a little bit squishier or had a little bit more depth in their attackers, I think we might see a different scenario here. But I feel like Seattle Starmie should win this one. Alright, so we see Kiss, we see Sinistcha, which is to be expected. We see Moltres, which is cool. Weavile looks pretty good. Sorry. Ironmouth looks very good. I'm just kind of sold on this team. Obviously, set up Terapagos and Valley look very good as well. I don't want to discount those. Ice Spitter does nothing. This is just max defense Chomp. That's crazy. And EQ's just going to kill it back. Chomp looks crazy into this team. I don't know what you really click and expect to get away with. I like Toxic here from Chomp. We don't see it clicked, of course, but... Dude, this is a tough matchup. This is really tough. And the Matcha Gotcha. Is it going to get the burn? No. Cecil's Legend Miss is unfortunate, but I wasn't killing it. I'm assuming this was Colbur Berry? No, it's not, so that actually did matter a lot. I don't know why they're not Colbur, but they're going to let them... Well, I guess they're not getting all three spikes up. That's really unfortunate. Two really bad misses there. Pikachu comes in to click Knock for freeze, I'm assuming on Strength Sap. Nothing kills Sinistcha. Nothing kills Sinistcha. I don't know, I get Ceaseless Edging, but you should have Knock. I don't know why Knock is not on the Samurott set, or why it wasn't clicked, I should say. But that forces it out. Are we going to poison? Some luck there, which is nice to see, especially because they could have gotten rocks up or something. Zapdos does come out, and unfortunately it does just take a kill here. And by take a kill, it allows Megavino in because it's banded. Unless it's just Scarf. Or not Scarf. Or unless it's Boots or it's going to scare it out. Bringing Sinistcha on Synthesis. Oh my lord. Oh my lordy lord. Are you going to poison? Nope, we're just going to Calm Mind. And that is probably going to be game. Unless they get a poison. Which they didn't. And this is going to shrink Sap a lot. I assume we're going to get a poison. Yeah, we got a poison. Shadow Ball is going to do 36. Nothing. Jesus, this mon is crazy. Synthesis comes out. Shadow Ball. We're just going to get as much chip as we can. And they didn't take the kill. I think this is not recognizing the position you're in. You always Brave Bird. There's no switch-ins to Brave Bird. Literally, there's no switch-in to Brave Bird. If Pikachu ever comes out, it's a sack game. It's a sack game. You win the sack game. I don't like that. I really don't like that. You get Weavile chips. I don't like that play, and I think they should have synthesis and not Sludge Bomb, but their booster energy again, Ice Shard, you're just gonna sack? Are we serious? We're gonna what? What are we doing? Does this even outspeed? It does. Why was Togekiss not even like, well, you're not fake out on Pichu, I guess, which is something, so yeah, if it was fake out Pichu, I think we would have had an interesting conversation, but some misplays for sure, but Pichu just win? Oh, Pichu just wins. Oh shit. Oh, it wins. It wins. Unless it dies to Volt Tackle here. It does. That's unfortunate. God, that really is brutal. Because I don't... Noah should have lost this one. Noah should have lost this one for sure. Because you misplayed this game really badly. At a lot of points. And you got bailed out by Ceaseless Edge missing because that is 25. It's literally double chip that you would have gotten on a lot of mons. And it gets rid of Sinistra. No, they should have lost this one. I don't know why we just decided to sack the Moth for no reason. This should not have... These turns were really just throwing the game to me. Why was Kiss never even considered? I don't understand. I don't understand, but they won, so that is a game. So again, all of the 3-1, all of the 2-2 teams have lost at every opportunity. Will it happen here? If it does, that'd be really funny, actually, so I hope it does. Electro just came 3 games for reasons we don't know. Slacking is funny. Lele looks incredible. You really just need to get rid of this, so this is why this core is insane, because these 3 mons look incredible. I think even the offensive Melmetal looks pretty good here. Gligar looks great. Ding looks great. I think we're probably just going to see these 6 because they're just fantastic. This is just a really good 6, but we'll see. Maybe Reun is brought instead. Nope. Hitmontop instead of Gligar. On this side of things, we see Meow. Webs could be an issue. Webs could actually be an issue, but they have Spin. But you do have a Sylveon. This is interesting. I think you lead Webs. Oh no, you lead Rachi, which is fine. Scarf Rachi. Respecting Scarf Rachi, I think that is a good play. It is not Scarf Rachi, though. Psynoise is good because it prevents wishes, lefties, all that great stuff. Vigavolt comes in. Great flip turn because now, holy Rocky Helmet chip. Now you get him Nidoking, which clicks Flamethrower. Lives on 1, but they don't go for webs. So, little unfortunate there, but you get chip on Nidoking for Tusk to come out, or I guess Meow to come out as well. On Sub! Normal type Meowscarada is funny. You are Life Orb. Are they Drain Punch? Drain Punch Melmetal? Protect? What is this? What is this? What is this? I assume you have Haze or Rudl. That's why you would set up a spike there. Or 2. Please click Haze here. Please. Rocky Helmet. So we're just Rocky Helmet spam, I guess. Why are we not Haze? Why are we not Haze? You are going to get a lot of chip here because I think this kills, but you get a ton of chip. So hopefully your Sylveon just outspeeds. Tusk is not going to kill this. Tusk is not going to... What are we doing? Lived, but like, why? What? It's going to crit, isn't it? No, it didn't. But this is not killing, man. Why? Why do we do that? Sylveon just picks up the... Are we not Mystical Fire on this shit? We're not Mystical Fire. Oh my goodness. We're not Mystical Fire. That's the only reason why Sylveon would not have been brought out yet, is because it's not Mystical Fire. Holy, and it is defensive Melmetal, by the way, because I'm just go to like that. Are we seriously not Mystical Fire Sylveon? Dub? On double? This is gonna kill it. What are we doing? Your Psynoise. We're not Mystical Fire on Sylveon. That is crazy to me. I don't know why that was not the case, but we're another 2-2 team loses for the final game of the week. I think the other team, by the way, was that we didn't see. So I lost. Hatsune Miku lost. Band Brigade lost. Jellicent's lost. Literally every 2-2 team that could have lost. Obviously, with my matchup, that's not a thing, but that's crazy because that gives Portland Palafins a lot of leeway. That gives every team here so much more leeway. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because that just opens. I will. Give me 1 second. I will show you guys what the standings look like. But that's insane. All right, so let's give this thing an opportunity to update. But like, that's insane. That is actually just crazy that it works out that way. All right, so this should all be correct. I'm just looking to see. That's crazy. Look at the gap between these. I'm pretty sure all of these teams are now eliminated. But the fact that I'm 2-3 and that's 7th. The Mount Tapus are 2-3 and they're 8th. I was not expecting this. I was definitely not expecting this. The 5-0 teams have definitely put a gap in front of them. Really, the 4-1 teams. I think all 5 of these teams I feel like are clinched. Even if mathematically they are not clinched, at this point in time, it feels like they are clinched because depending obviously on how the schedule goes, that's insane. That's insane. Ciesler is 2nd in kills, despite being on the 5th best team, which is really cool to see because I feel like usually we've just been seeing the best players are, or the best teams are the highest Pokemon, but which makes sense of course. But it's nice to start to see some variety, and we do see the top mons are ranked very highly. Very highly. We see the middle is about 40 to 25 and the end is roughly about 10 with the exception of Raging Bolts. No, this is really interesting to see because of just how this is all worked out. I feel like this is now going to be, these are the playoff teams, which is insane. This is literally the March Madness bubble. If you're unaware with March Madness, and the bubble this year, the bubble is hot garbage. And that's no disrespect to any of these players, but what I mean is every bubble team finished their season horrendously and should not be in the tournament, but obviously there's going to be a couple that make the tournament. That is literally what just happened. Is every team that was like, holy crap, we are in playoff. Our playoff chances are high. We just need to win this week. We need to go on a hot streak. We need to win our game. Every single one of those teams lost. And because of the Jellicents losing, they have now opened the door for the Mount Tamalapa. Fuck, I'm so sorry. I had it right originally. But the Mount Tapus, I did not think they were going to make it. But with that loss, and depending on how their schedule looks, like they now have a very good chance to win out, which is insane. How in the future, obviously, this is probably my last year here at Rutgers of being on the e-board and doing all this. Hopefully, I'll still be able to help with all that stuff, but I'm probably not going to be e-board next. I'm not going to be e-board next. Probably not. I'm not going to be e-board next year, so. What I would love to see is, it's not even feasible, but how the Big Ten does their tournaments is these teams would play first. They would battle each other first. Winners would then play against these teams, and then these teams would play against these teams, and then these teams, and then we just do it like that. Obviously, there's time constraint, and the Big Ten tournament happens, I think there's like, 5-6 rounds, and that happens in 5-6 days. So that would be 5-6 weeks, so it wouldn't work. But even just these, if we could do this, I think that would be cool. But that's just my thoughts. Really interesting how things have turned out in the lay of the land with all this. Shout out my goat Chiyu for putting in work and actually looking good for once. But this is a very interesting... Oh, I forgot to mention transactions. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I kind of rambled all that time and I did not mention transactions. My new team... Actually, we could just go to the talk. Alright, so my new team. We are so back. I hated playing with Sun. I'm gonna be so real. Sun sucks. I hate it. I hate it a lot. And I made this transaction before this week started because I figured I was going to make this transaction anyways. So I did before this match, I should say, started. But I added Haxorus, I added Nidoqueen, I added Decidueye, Arctozolt done. I pretty much took away Sun from this team. I didn't think it was working that well, and I thought I was losing a lot of games that probably should have won if I hadn't brought Sun to the matchups, and the games I had won were games I did not bring Sun to the matchups. I was 2-1 without Sun, and 0-2 with it. So I figured this was probably best for me and for my team. I think Haxorus brings a lot more threats of just a D-Dance physical attacker. It meshes pretty well with Cyclozar, or not Cyclozar, Slitherwing. Two of them just feed off each other. Bulky pivot with Decidueye. Arctozolt gives me a threat with Chilly Reception. Nidoqueen, bulk ground looks great against a lot of teams, and it does a fantastic job with just hazard control, great coverage, love it. I think it's a good mon. The Dun was specifically for one matchup, so I'm not going to reveal anything about it, but really good mon. I love it. Does a lot of utility work. It's a really outstanding mon, and it has coil sets, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon. So, God, a lot of these teams are just a lot of my teams now are just cute, and I love it. I am such a fan of just like the aesthetic of my team. But my team is very slow, but I do have priority with Comfy. I bring a lot of Scarf GU or D-Dance U. You have first impression, right? And then Chilly Reception would give me the speed boost. So speed-wise, my team looks really bad, but in actuality, I think it's going to be just fine. We'll see. That was my team. That was the only transaction, I believe, this week. And transactions close at the end of the regular season. So week 6, no transactions are still allowed. Week 7 is the last week of transactions once the regular season ends and the last game has been played. Transactions close. So keep that in mind. And it should be a really fun season. It's been a really fun season, so we'll see how it all ends. But very impactful week. We really saw the top 5 separate themselves, and we saw the bottom 6 to 13 kind of put themselves in a big mess. So we'll see how it all ends. Should be really fun, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one. Peace.